Kevin Stefanski has pretty much been the same exact guy with the same exact demeanor in the 6 seasons he's been with Cleveland. He hasn't changed. Most of you listening and most of the media has. We'll break that down, some other stuff as we continue here. Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network begins now. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends, your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. I am your host, Jeff Lloyd. We appreciate each and every one of you that come out to the OBR daily for the best Cleveland Browns content there is. Whether it is the OBR.com, our staff, maybe tough times for the Cleveland Browns, but it is not tough times in accordance to the amount of written content you're getting at the OBR.com. Our guys continue to crank it out while you're there looking at the insider package, insider forums, ask the insiders, have your subscription bundled with Paramount Plus. And for all of you that come out nightly to the OBR streaming network beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern, big night ahead. Inside the Browns beat following us, garage beers after that. And of course, we're always live within the hour after any Cleveland Browns game. Make sure you subscribe to the OBR on YouTube. And of course, make sure you're subscribed to the OBR over on Twitch. Now, for those of you that are obviously well beyond the point in regards to moving on from Coach Kevin Stefanski, I watch, as much as I watch Coach speak in his weekly scheduled times, I automatically watch for the reaction from so many of you, from the media itself. And it's gotten to the point where it just absolutely busts me up. Early on in Coach Stefanski's career, 20, and it was probably more evident and relevant in 21, as 20 went for the most part pretty damn smoothly, right? But in 21, where the Browns were certainly dealing with an injured Baker Mayfield, Baker told him he was good enough to play. The Browns continued to put him out there. There were weeks Baker didn't play terribly. There were weeks where Baker's play suffered. And you had a head coach at the time after every single game and during his Monday availability show that he was there to protect his team, to protect his players, to protect the brand. And even in those earliest days, and obviously Andrew Berry's never a guy that speaks much, or even less so now. The thing that everybody admired, and you're lying if you say you didn't, what you all admired and appreciated about Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski is they spoke the same. The answers were pretty much the same. In no way whatsoever were they going to speak ill of their team, of their players, of the brand. Here we are now in year 6. And obviously with Dillon Gabriel quarterbacking this team now. The rookie, 3rd-round pick, I might add, who is now currently the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And obviously, Dillon Gabriel is by no means lighting the world on fire. And that has nothing to do with the fact of being named as a possible NFL Rookie of the Week. But you guys all of a sudden now expect Coach Stefanski to go basically turn heel and starts speaking ill of his players. In 6 years, you've known this man to never do it. So I don't know what in the hell you think is going to change now. I'm sure it's because so many of you have apparently seen something that none of us have, and nobody has. That Shador Sanders is ready. And I say this in full face, telling you that I am ready to see Shador Sanders. But let's not kid ourselves. Nobody knows what the hell Shador Sanders looks like. Keeping in mind, and good friend of the OBR, Quincy Carrier, if you get a look at this and don't think for a second that Quincy Carrier, or certainly myself by putting this up here, is trying to compare Dillon Gabriel to any quarterback on that list. But everybody, I don't understand what they see. I don't get how they could possibly keep trotting him out there. Well, what allows them to keep trotting him out there is the firm belief that he's a rookie and it takes time. Yes, Gabriel started an insane amount of games in college. Yes, Dillon Gabriel was advanced as far as age is concerned for a rookie quarterback. But looking at that right there tells you that this isn't the easiest thing in the world. Again, I'm not telling you it doesn't mean Dillon Gabriel is on the path of anybody on that list. But it does tell you to try to keep some perspective that playing quarterback in the NFL is obviously extremely difficult. Tony Lima and Ken Carmen show. Mary Kay Cabot on there. And obviously the guys were trying to get, you know, some info from Mary Kay about where Shador is, because that's becoming the big topic. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody believes or is wondering how Shador, and look, I'll be honest, I'm one of them, how Shador is not ready to go in there and play. And Mary Kay, to her credit, completely transparent and honest. There's only a limited amount of time that they're there. And most of it is just generic stuff. The guy's getting loosened up, seeing the ball getting thrown around, but it's no different than maybe two guys tossing the ball around in the backyard. Once stuff gets real and it starts getting involved into, game plan and that type of stuff, if you're media, pack your crap and get the heck on out. So we've heard that there is this Shador Sanders extended period. But to be fair, nobody's seen it. No fans, certainly no media. So what it actually entails, and certainly what actually it might look like with Shador Sanders practicing, nobody's got a hill of beans. Nobody's got any idea. They also asked, and of course the topic was brought up in regards to Kevin Stefanski's job security. And I give Mary Kay credit because what she dropped today certainly did nothing to excite anybody and probably only angered the masses. But she tells it like it is. That's what her job is to do, right? So basically, it was I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think either of them are going anywhere, which has got to have people just bat poop crazy. Mm. But you guys, all of a sudden, not only do you want him out, but you want him to look like a jerk and a scumbag while he's doing it. I'm assuming you guys would like him to make some jokes in poor reference to Dillon Gabriel's height, bang on his play. It's just like the man he is. And it absolutely blows my stinking mind that here is this guy in Kevin Stefanski who's essentially been around professional sports his entire life through his father. So there is no question about it. Kevin Stefanski knows the right way things need to be done, probably knows the right way, but doesn't even have the wrong way, doesn't even need to know the wrong way because he just does stuff the right way. He always keeps getting badgered about Shador Sanders. I don't, and look, we know Dillon Gabriel is in no way entrenched as a long-term number one quarterback here. But there cannot be another head coach that is asked more about a backup quarterback on his roster than Kevin Stefanski is in reference to Shador Sanders. Typical waste of time. And this is also the other thing that comes along with it is, well, Stefanski can never give a straight answer. He doesn't give us anything we can use. Well, maybe if you stop aggravating him by asking him BS questions about players who haven't even seen the field yet this season, you'd get better answers. Maybe if you're not trying to trap the Ivy League graduate into saying something that you know damn well he doesn't want to say, maybe we could get more out of these pressers. But what do I know? Within the conversations on that show between, you know, Ken and Tony, and I think this is probably where we're getting closer to what, because this is the big thing here is, you know what I'm saying? There's the truth. There is a whole lot of BS. And then there's whatever's in the middle. So the guys basically went on the belief of maybe Shador Sanders just doesn't look good in practice, which is certainly a possibility. He's the number two now. So if he's the number two now, going on, I guess, 3 to 4 weeks, not counting the week he was injured. If he was tearing up practice, if he was shredding practice, somewhere along the line, loose lips would have sunk some ships. Something would have come out on somebody's social media account. Something would have leaked somewhere. Yo, man, practice is a joke. Shador Sanders looks better than Dillon Gabriel every single day. If this was truly the case, which I think a lot of people want to believe is going on in Browns practices, it's 2025, man. We'd all know. It'd be out there. Somebody disgruntled would let it slip out. One of these players mistakenly would have commented or shared or liked a couple of posts on social media backing the belief that everyone wants to believe the number one overwhelming story from Browns practices currently, or that Shador Sanders looks fantastic, which I think you all want to believe, and I think you all want a justification to it as to why Dillon Gabriel is still your starting quarterback. And again, I say that saying I think it's time to play Shador Sanders. Jeff Lloyd, OBR Streaming Network. We appreciate you guys for coming out every single day. If you're not, make sure you subscribe to the OBR on YouTube and, of course, over on Twitch. I think part of it is, and look, I'll be honest, for some of you, and I think after almost 9 years here covering the Browns, and of course through social media, I think I know some of you pretty well. I think some of you are way, way wrapped into the Cleveland Browns and in how it affects your day to day. Go touch some grass. When I see in the bio that you're married and have children, and only thing you talk about is how you want Kevin Stefanski run out of town and whatever deflammatory statement you want to make about Dillon Gabriel's ability or size. Go touch some damn grass. Put up a picture of your family. Show us something that makes you actually probably happy in your life. We all know the Browns are causing everybody a tad bit of agita. And for a lot of you, a hell of a lot longer they've been causing me agita. But being a sports fan is supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be something you do because you choose to do it. Win or lose, you should be taking some sort of fulfillment of enjoyment of the product. And if you're a Cleveland Browns fan because he all wins, hang in there, kid. That's a tough one. I love, and this is some of the other radio shows in Cleveland where we deserve an answer. Deserve an answer on what? That the team is 2-7? What's the answer you deserve? Obviously, it's not a very good football team. Obviously, it's a flawed football team. When you can't get the three oars in the water, offense, special teams, defense, working in unison, it's not a very good product. When you were missing and don't have the most important piece to an NFL football team, very hard for that team to be successful. So I get it. I do. But man, it's on a level taken to the extreme sometimes that just absolutely blows my stinking mind. I got one daughter in college. I got the other daughter going through her senior year. Love the Browns. Love doing this stuff. Evaluating the team, watching the games, all that stuff. It doesn't even come close in comparison to what I got at home. Now, Alex Wright was Cleveland Browns' only player to not participate in practice today. It is a quad injury for Alex Brown. Certainly looking like he would not be available this week. Coach Kevin Stefanski was asked if IR was possible. He essentially did not say no. As we know, that leaves the Browns right now with 3 rostered defensive ends after the trade of Joe Tryon-Shanko 2 weeks ago. KJ Henry most likely to come off the practice squad to be in the lineup for Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, and most likely Lamar Jackson, who did not practice today. Certainly not the week to be down an edge rusher. Certainly not the week to be trying to put a new piece into place within that edge room. Can anybody take some edge reps, maybe? Aiden Huntington. I mean, he's shown to be a jack of all trades, and every time you ask him to do something, he just finds a way to excel a little bit at it. Maybe you throw Aiden Huntington out there. I've said in the past, I think Mike Hall could probably take some edge reps. I don't know if that's necessarily something you're going to pursue right now, as he's just getting his sea legs back under him after missing, obviously, so much time to begin the season. I know there were a lot of people that were questioning, Mike Hall's limited amount of reps Sunday against the Jets. My personal belief is that the Cleveland Browns just didn't want him on that field at MetLife. It's known to be an absolute killer. It's known to take out a lot of bodies. So my belief is that probably the Browns, and especially once it got a little messy with the weather, there was zero reason to risk Mike Hall on such a piss poor playing surface. But you got a question at edge, certainly, and this ain't the week for it, and by no means whatsoever. With Alex Wright not practicing today and him being deemed the only one, that means Isaiah Bond returned to practice today. Yay. In addition to Isaiah Bond returning to practice at the wide receiver position, the Browns elevated Caden Davis off the 53-man roster. My first belief is that Caden Davis is going to go in, and Caden Davis will be the new gunner on the punt team, replacing Trey Avery. This move was not made because Caden Davis caught a couple touchdown passes from Shador Sanders. This is the goofiness that I just can't deal with. And because I think when the Browns are good, I think a lot of this fandom speaks more intelligently about the game, understands the game with a better understanding. But when they're bad is when things just get downright absurd. Oh, Caden Davis caught a couple touchdown passes from Shador Sanders in the preseason. You know what that means? He's all of a sudden now better than Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Malachi Corley, Jamari Thrash, Gage Laberdane, who he couldn't beat out then and still hasn't beat out now. But yes, because Caden Davis was brought up to the 53-man roster. That means Shador Sanders is imminent. Come on, guys. Practice squad guy, a 26-year-old rookie. The Browns are bringing this guy to the 53-man roster so he can now jump every wide receiver that he couldn't jump, because it's going to be Shador time soon. Barry McBride urges us to not drink on air. And Barry, I honor you. But it's certainly goddamn hard at times. Tanking is another one that's been coming up here. Oh, the Browns aren't tanking. They don't have enough of a game plan to understand how to tank. What does it mean? What exactly does that mean? I don't know if you want to call it tanking or whatever. The Browns are in a youth movement. The amount of offensive involvement with rookies here in 2026 for the Cleveland Browns is most likely going to be the largest amount in NFL history as far as touches, targets, all those things added together. So sure, it's understandable the product isn't very successful. But yes, it's also not understandable that it doesn't look like much is improving when all of these young players have been playing as long as they have. That's certainly a fair argument. That's a fair criticism, no question about it. They can't get anything going because Dillon Gabriel's inconsistencies, and basically the MO on him is just jam the center of the field, stack it. Slant all your pressure in. Make sure your backers are 3 to 4 yards over the line of scrimmage. Make sure your safeties are about 7 8 yards after that, 7 8 yards. And with all the traffic going on there, and due to Dillon Gabriel's sizable height disadvantage, it's extremely difficult for Dillon Gabriel to find a way to succeed. Facts, 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 facts. The other problem is what I thought Dillon Gabriel was going to be able to do with his legs and be able to get out of the pocket and create separation and create passing lanes. He's not being able to do. And most of that is because he's panicking and putting his head down. There's literally still shots of it from Sunday's game. I put one up myself. If you were battling a disadvantage of being short at the quarterback position, putting your head down, you might as well just take a knee and have the ref come take the ball from you and line it up again. And as I've said, I'd love to see what Shador can do. And I think one of the biggest reasons is because I think one of the biggest concerns I have about Shedeur Sanders is now becoming one of the criticisms and the concerns I have with Dillon Gabriel. So if I think Shedeur Sanders just throws the ball better and is a little bit bigger, and they both have the same flaw of they can't truly deal with pass rush, it becomes a simple answer to me as to why Shedeur Sanders should be starting. But I digress. Not my job. Certainly not my call. Neither one of these guys are going to be the guy come April. They're not. Gabriel could go on an absolute tear here for the rest of the season. It's not going to change a damn thing. Shedeur Sanders, if or when he gets in there, could look like the second coming of Tom Brady himself. But again, it's not going to make a goddamn bit of difference. Daniel Oufsi from ESPN put up there like metric-based draft pick simulator. And it has the Cleveland Browns right now holding the number 2 pick, which would be right behind number 1 in the Tennessee Titans. Obviously, that will be a battle within itself. We'll see how that goes. And I believe that's December 7th. Tennessee obviously would have no business taking a quarterback. Certainly would be a strong team looking to trade back. Or could just do a really intelligent thing and just take Harvell Reese, who looks damn good. Which would leave the Browns in prime position, certainly, for hopefully the quarterback of their choosing, Fernando Mendoza. But that's me. Stefanski's not going to change. Obviously, you guys are not going to change, but you guys are the ones who changed. It was not Kevin Stefanski. The answers were always very basic. He was always very, very mindful not to critique his team or his players individually. He can speak about his team not playing well. He will never single out. Or would they release Cam Thomas, even though it was an egregious penalty? He's in a really difficult spot. And for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, you can't feel bad for how difficult the spot is that they're in. Because they certainly, had a big hand in getting it there. But unlike a lot of you, I'm seeing the forest through the trees. And 3 picks probably in the top 35, 36 in the 2026 NFL draft. They'll be good to go. Will Berry, will Stefanski be here to be a part of all of it? That's going to be a time will tell scenario. Thank you all for coming out to the OBR every single day for the best written content there is. Our staff team putting together just tremendous content day in, day out while you're at the OBR.com. Make sure you look into the insider package. Insider forums, ask the insiders, have your subscription bundle with Paramount Plus. And for everybody who supports us here at the OBR streaming network, again, big thanks. We begin every night at 6 p.m. with Browns 3D. You will have Inside the Browns beat with Fred and Mike Keefe later, and of course, Garage Beers after that. Make sure you subscribe to the OBR on YouTube and, of course, over on Twitch. This has been your daily delivery of all things Dog Pound. Browns 3D on the OBR streaming network. And we will talk to y'all tomorrow.